Hello, in this video I'll demonstrate how to enable the Windows Server management benefits that are coming for ARC-enabled Windows servers that are covered with software assurance. So on the web, if you've when looking around at the Azure Arc documentation, we have fairly some new documentation sections and chapters. We have a lot of exciting things that are going to be announced here at Ignite here in a few short weeks later this month. A lot of those announcements are around and surround Azure Arc, and specifically this benefit we have coming for folks that have Windows servers that have software assurance benefits to allow you to enable various features as explained in this document, what they are. To get there, though, we have to do a little bit of work. We have to enable this benefit per server. So essentially, this article talks about what those new features are, but it also talks about what's required to unlock them. And essentially, to unlock them, it's simply a matter of attesting that each individual server that you wish to use these management features for are covered under software assurance. So you have to click a box essentially to essentially attest to the fact that these servers within your onboarded ARC-enabled servers are covered with Windows Server software assurance. And so this article talks about this, and you can see in this enrollment section, it says, this is how you do it via the portal. So for example, if I go into my own subscription and Azure Arc, and I take a look at this new license section, this Windows Server Azure Benefits and Licenses section, you'll see your Windows servers that can potentially be activated for this new benefit. Now, in my case, as you can see, I've got a couple that I've kind of manually activated, and I've got some that are not activated. And yes, I can go through the portal and I can click on these and hit the Activate Benefits button. But we also have the ability to script this. So if I click this PowerShell tab back in the documentation, it gives you a sample of, hey, give me your subscription, give me your resource group, your machine that you wish to target, and let's go ahead and enable this benefit. So you can see it just basically flips this particular property on that ARC resource to true. Now, that's pretty nifty, but what would be even more nifty is if I can automate this. So maybe I have tens, hundreds, thousands of servers spread across one big resource group, multiple resource groups, multiple subscriptions. Clicking in the portal can get pretty monotonous. Probably not a good idea as a scale if I have to do this tens, hundreds, or thousands of times. So what I've done is taken this sample here and I've modified it slightly to allow a more en masse or at scale automation to deploy and configure this benefit. And so to show you what I've done, so this PowerShell script, I have taken and done a couple of slight modifications. So let me pull it up. So again, this is pretty much just copy and paste from that document. The biggest difference is really twofold. The first one is instead of a machine variable, I basically create a machine names array. And what happens is I use the power of Azure, and more specifically Azure Resource Graph or ARG, to essentially feed this array with all of the target names, all of the ARC-enabled servers that meet my criteria. So in this example, I just want ARC-enabled resources, which is done with this type of parameter. And then I only want to focus and filter for Windows servers, no Linux ARC-enabled servers, but just Windows only. And then I want to, in this case, I chose that, hey, I just want to filter and target specifically a specific resource group. And I also want to make sure that when this runs, that those systems are currently connected, which is, by the way, it'll fail if it's not. So we only want to focus on the ones that are connected, not offline or disconnected. And then I want to, cross especially a lot of these servers. Some of them may already be activated. And so then I'm making a check, just give me the ones that aren't already activated. And so once I have that, I project the name of that server, and that fills my array, my machine names array. So that's number one. I get a list of machines that I want to target using filters and criteria with a query to Azure Resource Graph. And then I just simply take the sample and I wrap that into a for each loop. So this basically just says, hey, for each of the machines that you find in this machine name, could be one machine, could be 100, could be thousands of machines, go ahead and go to each one of those machines and again, flip that bit, set that software assurance checkbox to true. And so if we look at this in action, hopefully, so let me go back to my portal. And so you can see I've got, just in this demo environment, I imagine I could have a lot more machines that aren't activated that meet that criteria of that resource group, et cetera. And I don't want to click all the boxes individually, but I just want to activate the ones that I want to activate and do that in an automated fashion. So I've got 3 here, this one, and this one. And so if I pull up my PowerShell command, now I've got this script inside of a PowerShell script here. And so when I run this, the first thing it's going to do is it's going to say, hey, I'm going to connect to Azure, but do it so in the context, this proper context. So this particular context is this particular tenant. This is I got to use a credential that has the proper permission to allow me to flip this bit. I don't necessarily have to be an owner or contributor, but I have to at least have the role access necessary to flip that bit across those target servers. So if I hit continue here, hopefully it'll go through, pull out that subscription. And as you can see, it succeeded on 3 things. It hit the software assurance customer equal true, and it did it 3 times. And the reason it did it 3 times in my case is because, well, I've got 3 that were not activated. And so if I give this another moment or 2, hopefully we'll see this. If I refresh the screen, these not activated will turn to activated. So let me go ahead and hit refresh here. And boom, there it is. I've activated my 3 that weren't activated, and I did it via a script. And so the point is that I want to make is with the power, they're Arc onboarded, and in previous videos and blogs I've talked about the power of, hey, when you project things into Azure via Arc, you get all of this wonderful metadata about these servers. And so that metadata becomes part of the Azure Resource Graph. And so we can exploit and use the Azure Resource Graph. We can query and filter. And this is just one example. I could filter on different tagging methods across a very complex environment if I've held rigid to that as well. And so that is my simple modification. And in the blog, I have links to my GitHub repository. I have posted this into a repository which can be found here. And again, the blog post will show you this particular repository. Feel free to use this PowerShell script as is, obviously using your own subscription, resource group, region, etc., or maybe get better ideas about the graph query itself. And that's all I have for today. Thanks for listening.